Hello.
Hello, Ivan. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Nice. So, just so you know, this is going to be recorded,
Okay.
and the way it's going to work is pretty simple. I'm going to ask you questions, and you can answer them, and you can also talk about other things if you want to, and I'll chime in from time to
Okay.
time.
Wonderful.
So, also, if our new strategy works out, this will appear on the Issues YouTube channel the third week of next month.
Wow.
So
What?
we'll see how that goes,
Wow.
but that's the plan.
Cool. I like that.
All right, awesome. So, what's your name and where are you located?
My name is Ivan Christo, and I operate as Jaguardini, and I am in Harrisonburg, Virginia, in the Shenandoah Valley.
Nice. And Harrisonburg, I believe, is also where Macrock happens?
Yes, home of Macrock.
Home of Macrock. So, have you always lived in Virginia?
Mostly, I was born in Virginia and raised mostly in Virginia. Raised a little bit in Raleigh, um, but I wasn't always in Harrisonburg. What is that?
Oh, that would be a dog. That's very loud.
Oh yeah,
My
hey
roommate's
puppy.
dog.
And yeah, I lived in Wilmington and Raleigh. Raleigh in my childhood and Wilmington in college, but mostly in Virginia.
So, did you go to UNCW?
That's right.
And what did you study?
I studied film and I'm minored in Spanish.
Oh, nice. And
See.
what do you do now, like professionally?
Um, I am a instructional assistant, and I teach small groups, kindergarten mostly, literacy and math.
Okay, and what do you teach them?
So in small groups, I'll do, of course, kindergarten. I'll do this year. We get them, counting and learning numbers up to 40 and 50, and a little bit of addition, a little bit of subtraction, and part whole. And then in literacy, it's recognizing letters and then putting together words and then putting together sentences and uh,
The basics.
digraphs and phonemes, the basics. Yeah, but some of them are pretty
You ever
advanced and
get
are
into
writing
shapes
whole
over there?
paragraphs. Yeah, we got all the shapes, of course. That's a little bit of math, I guess, is a little geometry. They're recognizing shapes and making their own shapes.
I remember when I was a kid, it blew my mind that a square was a rectangle.
I don't think I realized that until middle school, maybe. It's like,
Yeah, I
wait a
think.
second.
Yeah, yeah.
Of
I don't know that
course.
I still don't know if I realize it or not. I think it's
Yeah.
so. Tell me about some of your music projects. What is the name of, or what are the names of your primary music projects?
So my primary one, of course, is Jaguardini, and mostly I operate as dark pop, synthwave, retro wave, and essentially it is kind of lo-fi beats, 1980s inspired lo-fi beats, lots of yelling, a la like Trent Reznor maybe, lots of delay on the voice, like Purple Rain, maybe. And I'm going for maybe like over the top action movie aesthetic, loud, but also maybe like a retro horror aesthetic, like John Carpenter. Um, just a kind of a smorgasbord of over the top and retro 80s, um, but also trying to be melodic at the same time. So that's what that's all about. But there's a whole other side to it too. I do a lot of film composition with Jaguardini too, and a lot of the scores I do are retro horror or sci-fi. So it's heavily synth based.
Oh, nice.
And
What are some of the films you scored?
I scored a short sci-fi film called Six Planets of the Song for my friend Oliver Mellon, and that is the tagline is "A force so strong these planets will orbit her forever," and it's about this siren that sings this song that pulls in a planet of some sort. It's very strange and obscure. I'm not sure what's really going on. I guess you're not really supposed to know what's going on, but it's got this kind of noir feel to it. It's got this noir synthy soundtrack to it,
Would you say
and
it's
it's a little
somewhat?
bit,
Would you say it's somewhat in the vein of like David Lynch?
yeah, very Lynchy. Yeah, yeah, that was shot in Wilmington. I guess incidentally close by to where um, Blue Velvet was shot. Um, and then another one, Soma, my friend in at UNCW, was all green screened. It's a very um, dark sci-fi horror film involving these shadow beings. It's all 3D, but he used like real actors in a 3D environment while he was in college, and it was really, really impressive the work he did, and I got to score that. It's a very blippy um, score. So I do stuff like that all over the place. Um,
Yeah, I could see
it was
that
a very
matching the.
noise and ambient score. Sorry,
Oh yeah, sure. An ambient score.
ambient and noisy, but blippy
Yeah,
and climactic.
those are all good adjectives. Now,
Thank you.
what what about your other musical projects or project?
Over the pandemic, I started another offshoot of Jaguardini called the Crystal Forest, where I do a meditative digital seance for self-esteem boosting, and I guide viewers. It started on the green screen, but it's in the real world now too with projections, and I guide viewers through a crystal forest which is projected behind me, and I say positive words of affirmation. I guide them through a journey while I'm live looping a Game Boy with a nano loop on it and arpeggiating on my microKORG and looping my vocals with bells and flute. A magical Cypriot flute made by my great
Nice.
uncle Mikalagis. And my guitar's in dad, so I'm playing this Middle Eastern and Indian scales on top of it,
Oh
and
wow.
kind of creating a very, very, very serene scape. And when people walk by or they come up to me, I say some very positive, uplifting things. And then I typically do this in a crystal shop. And I ask them to purchase crystals to better themselves. And the more they put into buying a crystal from my friend's store, the more they will be uplifted by
I really enjoy the
self-love.
idea of like a store band. Like that's a fun concept I wish happened more often. The
Yeah, I am becoming the house band of Horizon Gifts in Harrisonburg, and I am
That's awesome.
asking people to channel their self-love into the crystal that suits them. And the more they spend, the better they can wield their own self-love.
That's I believe it. That's true. So I was, it'd be funny to be like I play at like Food Lion, like.
Do you?
No, I wish I did. I wish I
Oh,
was like the Bitterink was like the house band of the local Food Lion or something. But
you should.
I would, I would do it for free. Um, like between songs, be like, we got to mark down on meat. Go back to the meat section.
Clean up on aisle nine. Clean up on aisle
Exactly. Exactly. So, any other projects?
Oh,
Musical.
I play in a band called Tom Hanks with my best bud Tibor, and I play accordion, and he plays upright or banjo or guitar, and I play kick and now kazoo, and we sing shanties and Tom Waits and some Hank Williams
All right.
and some outlaw country as well, and all of it's gruff, and most of it's in the style of Tom Waits, and we do it. We've branched out, and now it's heavy in the originals. Um, and now I've started doing that solo as well, getting more confident with the kick drum and the kazoo and the accordion to where I'm doing that solo,
Nice.
and doing more shanties on my own, more pirate music, and having fun with that.
Where did you start that in Wilmington when you lived in Wilmington?
No, actually, I didn't start playing accordion until I moved back to Harrisonburg in 2014.
Oh,
My
righteous.
mom decided to get me an accordion, and she left it on my bed, and decided I needed to learn it. And I was like, yes, I should.
That's a good mom.
Yes, she is.
Tell me a little bit about your parents. What are they like?
My parents are very caring and loving, and always push and support me as an artist. My dad has always been an artist. He was a art student at Tulane and an art teacher there. He was a ceramicist when I was growing up and a potter, and then he was a nuclear physicist
Wow.
designing targets for an electron beam accelerator. And
Hell
now
yeah.
he's a famous cowboy boot maker. And my mom is a famous geologist. She's Dr. Farrell, and she leads teams of drillers around the eastern parts of North Carolina, mapping the coastal plains.
You got a brainy family, Ivan.
Well, definitely puts me under a big shadow.
Well, I think you're doing
Uh,
just fine.
they inspire me for sure. Like, it's a lot to be inspired by.
Nice. Do you have any siblings?
I have a sister who is also, as you would say, very brainy, but also very artistic. So she's like the best of both of them, very artistic and brainy.
Nice.
She has always been an artist, but now has a child, my nephew Rhodes, who's a 1.5-year-old drummer. And she is working for the Army Corps of Engineers in New Orleans.
Now, your father, I he did some interesting stuff. Like, didn't you tell me one time that he was somehow involved with the Black Panthers or something?
He was. He told me that when he was living in Ohio, he had his own printing press or printing machine, and he would help work with them and help them print pamphlets for their chapter up in Cleveland or
Nice.
the surrounding area.
That's just cool.
Yeah, he was involved up there, and he was very influential on my views and beliefs.
Yeah, and so you said you teach now. You teach kindergarten. You teach in Harrisonburg.
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay. And are you working on any records right now?
Sort of. So, I've been too busy during the pandemic with my web show, The Empire of Excellence, and I got sidetracked, and I didn't finish a lot of tracks that were standalone tracks that didn't really belong to any albums. Now that I'm back into touring again, I'm putting all my energy into that. right now. So what I'm trying to do is finish up all these standalone dark wave, and there's some new wave tracks too. And I'm trying to figure out if they are going to fit together on an album
Hmm.
or if they just need to be all released as singles. There's like maybe 5 or 6 different tracks that I've been working on for several years, but I don't know if they belong together or not. Um, I would like to start a new album, and each one of these tracks could, like, I like the direction of each and every single one of them, and they could, maybe 2 of them together could be the start of a new album. Um, I'd like the time to be able to do that. Maybe this fall, I will. I'll put some time into that. I'd like to start an album fresh because I have so many ideas and directions I want to go. And I'd like to cater it to how I perform live now instead of the other way around where I write an album and then cater that,
Mm.
my live show to that. Because
Yeah,
I
I
think my
understand.
live show now, I want it to have more energy and focus more on guitar. Of course, more synths and all that, but I want more energy in my live shows.
Nice. And you do play the guitar really well. How long have you been playing?
24 years. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. That leads me to How old are you?
I am 34.
Gotcha. So you started when you were 10.
Yes, Dad asked me, do you want to play guitar or drums? And he offered me lessons at the local music shop, and I chose guitar.
Nice.
I took them every week.
So you
So
took
I was,
lessons too.
yep,
How
every
long did
week from 10 to when I left high school, 18, 10 to 18. And then I took jazz in college. I was going to get a music minor, but I saw the Mars Volta when I was like 19, and I decided to quit taking jazz because I was like, I want to just mess around with
Mm.
weird scales and make mathy music.
Oh, that's fun too.
It was. I think it was a good choice.
But you mentioned you're planning on going on tour. Have you started booking shows yet?
Yeah. Um, but I'm exhausted also. Like I think I shot myself in the foot by booking too many local shows, which is fun, which I want to be doing. But by doing that, I'm not able to sit down and plan out a good summer tour
Mm.
that's cohesive. I have a lot of great summer dates, and mostly in North Carolina. So I'll be coming around everywhere
Nice. You
in
think you'll
North
come through
Carolina.
Durham?
Well, I'll come through Chapel Hill for sure. I'd like to come through Durham, and that won't happen till later in the summer if I do. But
Gotcha.
definitely Chapel Hill.
Also, like, I don't know if you've applied her yet, but American Babylon is going to be September 2nd through 5th.
No, I'll be in West Virginia camping. I'm so
That's a
bummed,
shame.
man.
Nah, it's okay. I understand. So,
I'm very sorry.
no, it's fine. Um, what, like, what got you started on Jaguardini? Because it's a pretty unique aesthetic. I think it does combine a lot of like '80s tropes, like you said, sort of a postmodern way. You got the TV on your head, and you shred on the guitar, and you have all these little boxes in front of you that are doing all kinds of things that are interesting. But what kind of like started you wanting to do that sort of thing?
There, I think 2 things. I think 3 things, maybe. Let's see. First of all, my band broke up in 2011, and it was a 5-piece psychedelic space rock band.
Nice.
Um, and what I discovered doing that, I mean, that was a great band to be in. Lots of fun. Played some great shows, and that was with some great friends. But the hard part of it was just organizing people, and I felt like I wanted to take music further and put more energy into it than anyone else that I was playing music with. So what I realized was I just had to be a solo project for that to happen for me the way I wanted to do it. So I was like, okay, first of all, that's the first part of that. I needed to start a solo project. Second, I've always been like fascinated with electronic music, and through college, and then before coming to Harrisonburg, which I did in like 2009, I was like really getting way into dance, electronic music, techno, electro clash, all sorts of just really high energy electronic bands. But especially like I found a deep love for like chip tune, especially like Disaster Piece and just 8-bit music. So I was like, okay, that's number two formula. So solo act, I wanted to make 8-bit music. So essentially wanted to be a solo 8-bit artist. And then another thing I was like really into was chill wave back then. So like bands like Washed Out and like Neon Indian. I wanted to be my own version of that. Maybe a little MGMT thrown in there. So some sort of like pop. I wanted to like fuse like pop, chill wave. Not that MGMT was chill wave, but they're very poppy and electronic in a way. That's how they started. And I wanted to fuse that with chiptune, with the chiptune 8-bit aesthetic, and I wanted to be solo. So those three elements, I think, were how I started it. And I wanted to be very independent, and I wanted to make electronic music on my own, without having to ask people if they could do a show, without having to organize or figure out when practice time could be, and just be a yes man to like, okay, can I do a show this day? Yes, I don't have to ask other people. So that's how it started. And my friend came up with the perfect band name. We were just sitting on a porch, and he was reading a big book about big rare cats, and he read about the Jaguardini in this book. And I was like, wow, that sounds cool. I want to use that as a band name.
And
I
that's
went
a
back
real
and
beast.
reread it. It's not at all. I went back and reread it, and it's like, that's not what it says at all. It said Jaguarundi. But I was like, okay, that sounded cool. And we were just hanging out. I think it's because we were drinking 40s on the porch, and it's getting dark or something. So the name it stuck because it had no web presence. I typed it up, and there was zero web presence at all, which was very rare for a band name.
That's true.
So I typed it in, and that was the number one factor for choosing that. So that's how
ideal.
it all came together.
Yep. So you mentioned chiptune quite a few times. I'm wondering if you played any console games when you were growing up.
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely grew up playing video games. I started with the Commodore 64. I had that, I think, when I was 4 and 5, especially. I would have to like type in the commands. I don't remember what they were anymore, but I had to type those in to play games. We had Frogger. I think we had Kung Fu. A couple other games. My mom had a Mac, so there's all sorts of weird, like obscure Mac games. Had Oregon Trail at the schools I was going to in the 90s, early 90s in Raleigh. And then, Dad had a old Windows computer. Had all these DOS games I could play. We had a Sega Master System. Then we got a Super Nintendo from my aunt. And then my first console I bought myself, I saved up for, was the PS1. And then, progressed from there, PS2, and then, always
so on and so
games.
forth. So you think that those little synth sounds, those 8-bit and 16-bit synth sounds got in your head? Yeah,
dude, I just remember like sometimes I would just sit and listen. Like sometimes the Nintendo games would be on pause, or I'd just let the levels just unpause and like sit and listen. I remember there was this at my babysitter's house. I think they were playing, I don't know which Mega Man it was, but I remember the game was so catchy. I would just turn it on, get into this level, and just like listen to one level because it was so catchy. And like the Tetris theme, I would just like turn that on the Game Boy, and just have that loop because that Kalinka song was so good, even though it wasn't really Kalinka.
That Russian sounding.
Yeah, it was so cool. Just listen to those 8-bit grooves, like loop and loop and loop and loop, and those compositions were like would get into your head, and just something about the 8-bit sounds. I've always like described them this way, like they just like get into your ear, like the saw, I think they're the saw, the square, the triangle, and the
The sign.
it's it, right? The sign, that's it.
Yep.
And the FM, was it the noise?
Yeah,
Or for
later.
the
Yeah,
beats?
Sega Genesis was really good for the FM synth sounds. Like it's
Yeah,
all those songs sound like really intense and harder driving than like Super Nintendo or something because they're all that FM synth powered.
yeah. The Genesis, the Sonic soundtrack. I would listen to that at my uncle's house. I'd play Sonic at his house, and that was such a cool soundtrack.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have any other forms of art that you do that aren't musical?
I'm a movie video guy. So I went to film school because, like, since I was in middle school, I was always making my own home movies. Middle school, high school, um, college, making my own shorts, making my own home movies. Really fascinated with science fiction, especially with like green screening. Fascinated with like over the top action, horror, science fiction. Um, Over the pandemic, over lockdown, quarantine, I got really, really back into filmmaking. Um, I started making a web show again, which caused me to like make shorts and green screen a lot more. So I was doing like some of them were spoofs. Some of it was over the top. Some of it was ridiculous. But it was making like sci-fi shorts, action shorts, lots of explosions, fighting giant snakes with lasers, um, flying spaceships, fighting Plutonians, fighting giant crabs with explosives on a mountain while snowboarding, um, blowing up bases on Pluto. Um, and then I also did all these like great, like psychedelic. I made puppets and had them collaborated with poets, and the poets would manifest into these puppets or muppets, whatever you want to call them, and they were reading and with these psychedelic backdrops. Um, so I've always been a filmmaker as well, and for the last 8 years, maybe 6 or 8 years. How dang? What year is it? Oh my God. Maybe 8 years. Our Harrisonburg community has had the Super Great Film Festival, where you can make a 3.5 minute Super 8 film and enter it into a film festival. And I've always done that. So I've been getting into Super 8 film as well over the last decade.
So, are there any limits on like content or anything?
No, you just can't edit. That's it. You can do whatever you want.
Interesting.
I've done sci-fi and post-apocalypse, and I've just done Lynchian kind of stuff, weird narrations, miniature animations.
Oh man, that's excellent.
Yeah, you should enter it. If it comes up, I could let you
Oh,
know.
you don't have to live there?
Nope.
Oh, that would be cool. I don't have a Super 8 camcorder, but if I ever run into one,
They could let you borrow one. Yeah, they're all over the place.
yeah, that's actually something I'd be really interested in. We should talk about that at some other time.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, Ivan, I feel like we've covered a pretty good range of things. So I'm going to
Yes.
ask you the question I usually ask at the towards the end of these things, which is there anything that you were hoping I would ask you that I didn't that you would like to talk about?
Oh, I should have thought about that. Um, Man. Ooh. Well. Ooh. Give me a second here.
Take your time. I love dead air.
Let's see. A few months ago, it would have been what was I working on, and I was finishing a music video, and I did that. Here's some things I'm really excited about. I might when I play in Winston-Salem in June 4th, 3rd with Emotron, I'm going to hope to try to buy some aggressive inline rollerblades so I can try to hit up every skate park I play in the town of. So if anyone sees that I'm playing in their town, please let me know where I can rollerblade at a skate park. That's what I'd like to know about. Also going to try to surf wherever I can surf this summer. Definitely Wilmington. I feel like when I end this call, I'm going to think of something that I was supposed to tell you.
Well, while you're thinking about it, you ever been to the West Coast to surf?
No, I was going to try to go this summer, and I got so overwhelmed when I finished the last tour in March that I didn't start booking that tour in time, and I just got burnt out.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I didn't do it. But next summer, I think I'm going to try.
It's a long trip, and you got to hit a lot of places in between.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yep. But it's fun.
Yeah.
I saw a dolphin when I was out there.
Dolphin? Do they call them porpoises out there? That's what I heard.
Well, I don't know, but I'm an East Coast man, and I'm calling them dolphins.
I see lots of dolphins out here.
Do you?
Oh, tons. I saw 3 last summer, and in one place after seeing a shark not 15 minutes before, pretty close by. And I see lots of dolphins out in the York River, of course. Definitely on the Outer Banks. I see lots out there. Virginia Beach, of course, there's tons of dolphins. Yeah, they're everywhere. Chesapeake Bay.
Man, here I was thinking I had like a special treat that I saw a dolphin. Now I'm
no, they're
it's
common.
It's like eating a hamburger.
Yeah, I actually see more dolphins than I eat hamburgers, honestly. I'm not kidding. I need to eat more hamburgers. That's what I'm saying.
That's what we need to feed dolphins hamburgers. That's what needs to happen.
I think, okay, here's what's going on. So the show Empire of Excellence, we're going to bring it back this winter. We've been talking about it. Was going to bring it back this spring, but I wanted to play shows instead. So we're going to do maybe 4 or 6 episodes of Bill and Ted style adventure studio comedy. It's Wayne's World style interview show where we go on Bill and Ted style adventures. We interview bands, have them perform live on our green screen set, and then we do sketch comedy in between interviews. And then we also showcase and highlight local businesses, but also events like American Babylon. We shot a little bit of you being interviewed, which might need to be updated a little bit since it's been so long. We have feature poets and artists as well from everywhere. So we'll bring that back full force with the Villains Crab action from the planet Pluto coming in. And lots of action from Ace and Lex, the elite commandos who bungle every mission and blow everything up that they're not supposed to. And Boris the Boar, the Eastern European tank operator, who's always looking for his vodka, but has in his possession crab action's green beams. So we'll find out what he's going to do with them this next season of Empire of Excellence.
Hell yeah. Good promo.
Thank you. I've been practicing for years.
Well, buddy.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. World Goth Day is May 21st, and Broken Sound Tapes is releasing a compilation featuring many artists like Jaguardini with new original Gothic Darkwave songs. May 21st, World Goth Day 2022. Broken Sound Tapes. Look out for a new compilation.
Broken Sound
And that's
Tapes.
what I wanted. That's what I needed to remember. That's it.
Check it out. You can find it on many search engines.
That's it. Bandcamp.com. Broken Sound
Bandcamp.com.
Oh my gosh, I should have written.
So speaking of Bandcamp.com and
yeah,
in that wonderful compilation, make sure that you message me any websites you'd like me to include in the article.
Okay.
And also, if it's okay with you, I'd need some pictures of you. I guess we've covered a lot, so it could be performing, it could be stills from Empire of Excellence, it could be anything related to anything we kind of did during this interview.
Okay.
5 or 6 would be good, and
Okay.
higher resolution is better if you can get them because it's printed. So
You got it.
yep.
I'll do that right now.
You're a great guy, Ivan, and I appreciate
You are
you.
too.
Thank you. Sitting down.
I appreciate you too. Everything you've done.
Through the communication of the electromagnetic waves as we are doing right now.
It's easy. Yes.
And you have a great night.
You too, buddy. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.